So we are in the last week of the year and we don't want to repeat the nonsicalities and the nonscientialities of the previous year. There are things that we don't want to take into the next year and the things that we need to build into our next year to ensure a great, wonderful, blessed new year and a year where we achieve our goals and we come into our purpose and we come into who we are. Now, my name is Najele. Welcome to my channel, Chofanya. I'm a medical herbalist, helping you to look and feel great naturally. So let's get into it. So first of all, we're going to look into the things that we are not taking into the next year. And I think a big thing is pity, beating yourself up. Please, let us not continue with it. For me, when we're talking about failure, it's when you fall and you refuse to get up. That is the only point in which the game has truly ended. And that is because you have decided that it has ended. If you fall and then get back up, and you have, even more importantly, learnt the lesson, as we say the African proverb, when you fall, don't look at where you landed, look at where you slipped. There is a lesson to be learned there that you will not repeat. And for me, if you're looking to grow and develop in life, you need to learn your lessons. You need to learn about where you fell. What happened in the previous year that you fell? How can you change that? How can you develop it? Imagine where you would have been if every single time you fell previously in life, you decided the game has ended, I'm not continuing. Imagine when you first started to walk. How many times did you fall? In fact, children are a great example of learning. How quickly they learn. They have done trial and error a million times over and probably scared the living daylights out of most of the people around us, but it was part of their learning experience. When you go through something that is hard, think of it as a test or a lesson. When you go through it, what am I supposed to learn as a result of this? What is the lesson? If you have understood the assignment, just know that you'll be ready for the next chapter, bigger and better than when you first fell. In the next year, enough of the self-pity, enough of the beating yourself up, enough of treating your enemies better than you treat yourself. Please. So. Another thing, clutter. We are in this world of consumerism where we're just consuming. I think many of us who are much older, we have gathered now that the amount of stuff you have is no indication of your happiness or the joy that you experience in life. Contrary to that, having too many things, having clutter in your environment also clutters your mind, also stresses out your mind. And if we're talking about a new and better new year and a new and better life going forward, we need to have an environment that supports that journey, that helps us towards that journey. And clutter is not it. The 50 million suitcases on top of the wardrobe that we have, that we are never going to use, that are there to store clothes. Madam, you've just got too many clothes. Mister, you've got too many clothes. Just think about ways to get rid of it. If you have not worn it in years, you don't need it. Think of ways to either sell it on, a good app for that is Vinted, or you want to give it away for free. Another good app for that is Olio. Think of ways that you can, maybe you can bless someone with it, and just live a life that is free of the clutter. In fact, you want your environment to replicate the goals and the visions that you have in mind. And a million and one things cluttering your space, I'm sure is not your goal and vision for the next year. Another thing is we will not engage in things or people that are going to take us away from our goals. Some of us have decided that we are going to be the sacrificial lamb for every single situation in life. Even if the situation started out being nothing about us, we are going to insert ourselves in there and then put our head in the guillotine to be sacrificed. For what reason? And part of this and part of why some of us are doing it, so I'm saying us because when I'm talking it's because I've been through the tumble dryer of life and I'm now coming out of it successfully, and there's many lessons that I've learned, which is why I'm talking about these things. So the reasons why some of us are doing it is because we don't have clear vision in our head. We don't know where we're going. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Any nonsense, idiotic, kwashia bulu person will take you there because you don't know where you're going. Have clear goals in your mind, so clear that you have a timeline. You can smell and breathe that experience that you want. And because it's so detailed and you have that timeline, you're going to find out a lot quicker when something or someone is taking you away from that, because you know where you should be and by when. And when that's not happening, the alarm bells are going to start going off in your brain and you're going to be like, okay, what's going on? And then you're going to start evaluating your life and realizing that it is that waste, man. So like I said before, Thank you for Alice in Wonderland for the quote. If you don't know where you are going, any road you can take you there. The Nigeria version is, if you don't know where you're going, any wasteman, kwasha, bulu person will take you there. And we don't want that. We want to achieve our goals. We want to achieve our purpose. Have your goal in mind. And those people who are trying to destroy that goal, believe in the goal so much that you're willing to fight for it. And by fight for it, that if somebody is in your life that's preventing you from doing that, you are willing to let them go because you have determined that your dream and your purpose is more important. A lot of us, the purpose that we have is bigger than us. There is a knock-on effect for us achieving our purpose. And please do not put that on a guillotine, I beg. The other thing is, now we're coming to New Year. We are in New Year resolution season. So what we are not continuing into the next year is the 50 million New Year's resolutions. I think many of us have gathered, because we've had the same resolutions for many years, that it does not work to have 50 million New Year's resolutions. Let this year be a year of focus for you. Come with one New Year's resolution. At the end of the day, when people say we're good at multitasking, we are not very good at multitasking. If somebody said you're good at multitasking, it's somebody that's able to give 100% to each and every single thing. That never happens. If you are multitasking, you are compromising. You are splitting your level of focus. So choose a single New Year's resolution. And if you're figuring out which one, pick one that if you didn't achieve, you will see like, this has just been a waste. Pick one that has knock-on effect to other areas of your life. Because if we look at all the problems that we have, we could almost streamline them down to a couple of things. What is that thing? So for example, you've got many people, I want to lose weight, I want to live a healthier life. If you are living a healthier life, you have more clarity of mind. You might have better self-esteem. If you have better self-esteem, you're more likely to go out and network. You're more likely to push yourself to do new things. You're more likely to be creative, because our lifestyle does affect our ability to be creative. So I would say choose that one resolution and then choose 3 habits that you need to develop in order to make that resolution happen. Because a lot of our success is down to not the big things that we do, but the little things that we do often that make the big thing happen or prepare us for that big thing happening. So if, for example, it's losing weight, those 3 things is making sure that I don't eat after a certain time every single day. You might want to try intermittent fasting. You might want to make sure that you do 10,000 steps every single day. Those are things that you can measure and find out really quickly whether you're on your way to achieving your goals. So no 50 million resolutions. Focus on one thing and focus on it 100%. Now, what are we going to take into the next year to make our year more fabulous? Number 1, I think, is the foundation of all things. Please love yourself. Some of us treat our enemies better than we treat ourselves. Some of us are being mocked because we don't know what it feels like to love ourselves. If you don't know what it feels like to love yourselves, anybody can present any nonsense and you will accept it. Now, you cannot expect somebody to invest in you what you are not willing to invest in yourself. You cannot expect somebody to sacrifice and to give to you what you are not willing to give to yourself. Some of us need to go to the extent to take ourselves out on dates. You want a nice place to go and eat? Go and take yourself to a nice place. Some of us, I don't remember the last time you complimented yourself. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and saw something that you liked and said, hey, I like it. Oh, you're looking good. Ah, Jelly, you have done well. When was the last time you complimented yourself? But you're expecting people to compliment you. Appreciate and love yourself. Now, when we're talking about loving ourselves as well, now we have to understand that the physical, we are more than just the physical. We are also mental, we are also spiritual. So when I'm saying love yourself, love all those areas of you. Do things that feed all those areas of you. If you are a spiritual person or a religious person, engage in activities that builds that spiritual element of you. You look after those things will look after you. You look after your body will be in tip-top shape condition to serve you throughout your life. You look after your mind will be in tip-top condition to look after you and serve you and assist you in the decision-making throughout your life. Look after your spiritual life will look after you. Especially when you're about to do foolishness and God gives you that spiritual slap of a lifetime that push you right back on track. That won't happen if you're not engaging and learning and developing your spiritual life. You've got to make sure that this is part of who you are, whether it's taking yourself out, writing a journal, feeding yourself, meditating, reading your religious book or engaging in religious activities, whatever it is to make you a better person all round. Please invest in yourself. Do not expect more from others than you are willing to give to yourself. In fact, use that as your measure. If you want people to love you more, then you have to love yourself even beyond that. And if you're not, start doing it. Start taking yourself out. Start treating yourself. Start blessing yourself. Start complimenting yourself. Start looking after yourself, because you deserve it. And, you know, if you've ever been on a plane, you've always seen those signs that if anything was to happen, you have to look after yourself first, and then you'll be able to look after your others. You are of no use to the community if you are a zombie or a dead person walking. Invest in yourself. Give yourself life. God has given you the tools to be able to do that and has shown you the way to do that. So start with yourself first. The other thing I would say to make a point of in this coming year is to acquire knowledge. If you can read, read more. The decisions that you make, the habits that you develop, the journey that you have taken so far in life is based on what you know. You don't even realize there are maybe more efficient ways of doing things, or there is a better path to go on doing things if you have not learned. And one of the best ways for me to do that is by reading, and reading books on a variety of areas. It will help you in so many ways. For example, if I only know how to ride a bike, I can only go to those places that are accessible by bike. If, for example, I now learn how to drive, or I now learn how to take a plane, I will be able to go to places accessible by all those things, and it opens up my opportunities. It opens up my ideas. It opens up my views. Some of us are repeating the mistakes over and over again because we've not given ourselves enough opportunities to learn new and better ways of doing things. So make it something as part of your life to learn more, to read more, to engage in new experiences, to try new things. Because in all those things, including where you may fail, is an opportunity for you to learn and therefore take on lessons and take on a level of understanding that will prepare you for your next chapter. 2, make it in your mind to be ready for the opportunities, and that is linked to you achieving your goals. And I'll give you an example. If your goal was to get a dream house, you've pictured your house that you want, and all of a sudden your dream house comes on the market, do you have the deposit for it? Have you got that there? If, for example, you want to become a television host, and one of the ways to do that is to do a series of talks for people to see what you're capable of. And someone now says to you, oh, there's a talk coming up. It's in 24 hours. Do you have in place the things that will help you to do that talk in 24 hours? If we're talking about goals, prepare ourselves for the opportunities that might come. Whatever we have in our vision, we have to back it up with action. Act as if it is coming. What do you need to have in place in your life to make sure that when those opportunities come, you're able to take them? If your dream house comes tomorrow, do you have everything you need? If you don't, how do you put in place the things that you need? Prepare yourself, position yourself for when those opportunities are coming. Because a lot of what's happened in the previous year, the opportunities did come. You were being looked out for, but you weren't ready to take up the opportunities. You didn't have the knowledge to even know that that was an opportunity. And then if you did have the knowledge, you did not have the resources and things in place to make sure that you were able to take advantage of the opportunity. Don't repeat that mistake. Place yourself, position yourself by making sure you have those things in place. Another thing that I would say that you should do in the next year is to build in regular evaluations. I think you should do it seasonally, or you do it 4 times a year. And what that does is it gives enough time between each for you to significantly make some improvement or development, so that you have something to evaluate. But also, if you do it sooner, you don't want to do it right at the end of the year, because then you don't have enough time to make changes. So with it across different times of the year, you have enough time to evaluate and put in things in place to make sure you change and you're still able to achieve your goals. So I would say minimum every 6 months, because if you do it in the middle of the year, you still got 6 months to make changes to make sure that the end of the year is fine. So build in regular evaluations. It's also an opportunity for you to know when you're veering off track. If you say, for example, your goal is to lose weight, or your goal is to save £5,000, and at the beginning of the first evaluation, 4 months into the year, 3 months into the year, you haven't even saved £1, something is wrong. What do I need to put in place? What knowledge do I need to build? What networks do I need to put in place to make sure that by the next evaluation I'll do it? And if you keep doing that, you shouldn't be getting to the 4th evaluation and you have not achieved your goal. So build in those evaluations. So one of the things I did was a pre-2023 picnic. And then we've put in halfway through the year another picnic, and then I will do my own evaluations quarterly. So have that time, book it, where you will take yourself out with you or your friends and have a discussion of where you are in terms of achieving your goals. I would also say vision and gratitude board, or a gratitude list or a vision list that you have that is visible. And the reason why I say that is because often we come to the end of the year and we think we haven't achieved anything. We have forgotten about how far we've come along in our journey. I feel like the gratitude board especially is an opportunity for you to look through your year while you're in the moment writing these things that you're grateful for, to see how much you have done. I think celebrating yourself is just as important as an evaluation of yourself when it comes to achieving your goals, because you are somebody, you have achieved and you have fought so much just to get into this point. Appreciate that. Appreciate what you are capable of. Appreciate your strength. So I feel like if you have like a list of gratitude, like every week, one thing that you're grateful for, by the end of the year, you have 52 things to look at that showcases how amazing you are, how wonderful you are, how you've been able to achieve it. Having a visible vision board, again, is a reminder, constant reminder of what you are aiming to work for. Sometimes we just need to see these things to be able to appreciate what it is that we have and what we are working towards. So these are the things that I would say to leave in the previous year and things to take on into the next year to make sure that we are able to achieve our goals, to achieve our vision. And we end up, more importantly, being a better person at this time next year than we are now. If you like what you've heard and you want to know more, make sure you subscribe. Take care.